Today on the bench I've got this Technics SL1210 Mark II record deck. This is a classic piece of DJ equipment, very popular, plays really well. Apart from this one, it's very dusty. I don't think it's had a lot of love over the years. The owner tells me it's got some sort of bad connections on the output cables, and also the speed control's a bit dodgy. One of them doesn't work. Straight away I see the cueing arm is missing a part. I need to get that fixed. I could replace the whole thing, but I got the impression the owner didn't want to spend a lot of money, so bodge as it is. Monitoring the output on the oscilloscope so I can see which channels are working. So straight away I'm seeing there's a bit of an issue on the cable. Give it, oh, lift the cable and this sound comes on. This is a rewiring job, not too bad. Got some issues with the speed control. 45 RPM won't select. Pitch control, that seems okay. Yeah, not too many issues. There's something else on the lookout for on this, is the pilot lights down here. This is a classic one for blowing these up, and there's a rubber sort of bumper on there and it's glued on. What happens over age is the glue dries out, the rubber comes off, and the thing that stops this thing popping all the way up is the wires to the lamp. And when that shorts out, that kills the controls for the motor drive and dead turntable. Clearly that's not the case on this, it rotates. But the lamp itself isn't on, so needs a bit of maintenance as well. Well, all the action's on the back of these things, so we're going to get underneath it. So I'm going to unscrew the head shell, because we don't want to break that, do we? Let's pop that up there. Now this is flipped over, got to get all these screws out. This bottom cover, it's like a very dense plastic, and it'd probably be half of the turntable's weight. It's really quite a thing. All the feet have got to come off because there's a screw hidden behind every one of them. Someone likes screws when they design this, I tell you. One of the annoyances that they have on this is the mains cable goes through a hole in the cover. And of course you can't get the UK plug through it, so it won't be going far. To collect all these screws is a nuisance because they're fiddly. Certainly is stubborn, give it that. I see the trouble. Right in the centre, the rubber's like caught around, it's really awkward. Just have to get a bit rough with it. There we go. One of the problems on this is the 45 RPM select switch, which doesn't work. I think it's probably the switch itself. You can just put the meter across there and press it, and yeah, it's not working. Yeah, that is completely broken. The switch over here, this is for the 33, that one works a lot better. I have to fetch that off. I think both these switches are actually bad, just measuring it. So we're going to replace the pair. Sometimes this tool's brilliant. and other times not so brilliant. I've got some slightly different switches to put in, but I think they'll be okay because they're actually a narrower body, so the switch contact height is the same. But we'll know when we fit it. That'll tell us everything. We'll see how that engages with these actually push buttons under there. I could use a little brush because it's very mucky in there. Well, it feels clicky like a button should. Just pop that screw back in. Same with this one here. Oh, got a problem. It's too tight. So we'll have to put some shims under this. There we are. That should be a fix. Let's pop the multimeter on those connections. Beautiful, and here. Excellent. Whilst I'm at the bottom of this, or the underside, I need to probably replace the output lead, so I'm just going to disconnect all these little cable clamps. Just pull that off. And also whilst I'm in there, I'll take this metal cover off. So we can have a better view of what we got to do there. Well, I just had to order some parts for the cable. I ain't got any connectors in stock. Outrageous. So whilst we're waiting for that, I might as well tear down the rest of it. The platter itself, the turntable, just lifts off. Dead easy. You can see on here it's got a big permanent magnet, and this is because it is a direct drive turntable. This away quite freely. This is the control electronics. This is the direct drive motor assembly. This here is the power supply with the fuses, and a significant part I mentioned before was this plug here goes to the little pilot light that pops up down here. So this is just useful to know if you need to. We'll check if the bulb's actually gone in this, see if you need to rebuild it. If this has had its wires chopped and it causes damage, what the faults will be is these transistors down here will have been damaged, and they'll need replacing for sure, and that's generally why these are dead. I think I might need the vacuum cleaner in here. I've decided instead of rewiring cables, I'm just going to replace the cable. I find these are quite inexpensive and seem nice quality. I can confirm that by cutting them open and baring the ends. These are decent cables. So I'm just going to reattach this. A lot more straightforward. Make sure I've got everything threaded through and just solder them on. Nice easy job. So left is the white wire on this set. Apart from that's just come off. Pop the cable tie back on. Get hold of it. I've opened this hole up quite a lot to accommodate this thicker cable. So it still functions as a decent cable clamp. That's a thread in there. Give this cable a bit of a pull. But I think that completes all the work that this thing really needs. Dodgy cable and broken speed control, that's fixed. Besides all the dirt we've cleaned out, I think it's time to put this back together. Put this big heavy cover back on. Make sure we thread all the cables through, because that's a problem if you forget to do that. Even this skinny ground wire, that's another one. Another favourite to lose under there. That seems happy. Put all those bloody screws in. I remember there was long ones, short ones and medium ones. The long ones came out of the corners. That's what I recall. Short ones are clearly on here, so we'll do these. Good. Now just flip her over. I'll put these new cables in the test box there. This test box just an RIAA preamplifier, because the output from these cartridges is very low and it's not linear to the sound, so it's not a great thing to test. You can't really see it on the oscilloscope without it, so that's why it goes in there. Back on with the cover. And finally pop the platter back on. That looks pretty good. It'll sit straight with the record on, don't worry. So back on with the test equipment. We'll compare the output we had before. Remember where, where I put the stylus and the cartridge back on. So we're going to start off just to put some power on it. It lights up, it's quite happy. That's 33 RPM. 45. Back down to 33. Looks good. There's really only one way to test these things. That's to put a proper record on. To whatever taste you have. I've just noticed I haven't fixed the little lifter mechanism thing that's broken there. Bit of glue, bit of plastic. We'll work on that now. To add a bit more strength, I'm just going to pour a little bit of epoxy resin just on the top there. Now this will run down, so I'll put some paper underneath so it doesn't make a mess. At least that's the plan. I'm quite happy for it to fill the little foot in. That's not a problem. I have to keep my eye on that whilst it dries, make sure it doesn't dribble out of control. Should be a bit easier to cue up now. Now with the arm lifter working. Nice. That's how it's supposed to work. And of course it's in stereo this time. That's much better. Well, I'm happy with this one. Everything's spot on with this. A good repair. Catch you next time.